Hi, you guys, it's Amy Gretchen. Welcome back to another Project Life Process video. In this video, I'm working in 2017. This is week 4. So the first thing that I always tend to do after I've printed all my photos is just to lay them all out and get a good indication of where I want them to go. I wanted to make mention that card that has the post-it notes on it. I'm trying to cover up a map that I had printed. I actually took a screenshot of that map and I'll explain what it is coming up, but I just wanted to keep that from your view. Also wanted to make mention the other post-it notes that I have on those journaling cards. That is stuff that I wrote down during the week, little things that I thought this might be a really good story to tell. So I just placed it onto the page protector as the week was going on so that when I came back to work on this spread that I would see those stories sitting there. So I am looking through, one of the kits that I'm using this time is Ali Edwards number kit. And I'm trying to think, I'll have to see as we go along if I grab any other cards from anywhere else, but I know I specifically am using the number kit from Ali Edwards. So these are the cards that came in that kit. Hopefully these are all the cards. It's possible that some things got mixed up just because sometimes I don't have everything in the exact place. I think that card right there, however, that title card that I'm considering using came from Studio Calico, and also those red letters came from Studio Calico as well. Okay, so the next thing that I went ahead and did is I realized I was missing a couple photos, and then I wanted to switch up a couple of the photos. And so that one photo of my daughter in the upper right-hand corner, I made that a little bit bigger. And then that card that's next to it that you can see me cutting, I went ahead and did that in Photoshop. And that's actually, those numbers are actually a part of the Ali Edwards story stamp. And the actual stamp is a little bit smaller than that. But what's so great is when you subscribe to the story stamp and the story kit, you get a digital version of those stamps and all of the elements in the kit. So it's a really great deal. So what I decided to do was just use the digital version of the stamps and create that card in Photoshop. So it was actually really quite easy to do. But I just wanted to let you be aware that that is an option if you go ahead and get both of those subscriptions. So I am just moving things around like I typically do. I normally put things in, photos in the places that I think that I want them to go originally. And then I always tend to move them around based on what stories I end up telling, and if I have stories that are typed or if I have stories that are written out, or colors, just so many things come into play there when I'm trying to make those decisions. So now what I'm doing is I've grabbed this story stamp from Ali Edwards. It's from her surprise story stamp, and I know that I've already just sat and talked about Ali Edwards story stamps, but I cannot say enough about how versatile her story stamps are. I feel like her and the team that puts these stamps together are very thoughtful when it comes to telling stories, and I just think it's very versatile. So I've had people ask me before about, should I go stamps? Should I go with a kit? I mean, that's obviously got to be your personal preference, and I think it depends on, do you have a lot of products? Do you have a lot of cards to work with? But if you don't have any stamps, her stamps are really great for Project Life. I mean, you could really use them every single week if you wanted to. So anyway, I don't know, just something to think about. I'm not trying to enable you guys to buy all this stuff. I'm just letting you know and just kind of giving you my 2 cents just on some of my favorite products. So I grabbed out some of these Kelly Purkey label stamps, the ones that I used on week 3, and I have an idea that I want to use for that map that I was telling you about, but I thought that label was just a little too small to fit that Friday that I was looking at from L2E. And so now I'm just using my Fiskars stamp press to stamp that out. And the reason why I'm doing so many is because I figure if I have this stamp out, I might as well just do a whole bunch of them. And that way I can have them just in a little container and, pull them and use them another time. So now I'm just stamping Friday right out. It kind of looks like it is typed with a typewriter. So I really like that font. And I'm just going to go ahead and clean off that stamp. There's a lot of grooves in that label. Actually, that label came from Studio Calico as well. I think that came in a class that they did. I can't remember. It's been at least a year or two that I've had that stamp set. So I just went ahead and added that Friday on there. So this card, if you're interested in, when my husband and I were actually driving down the road and I went to where is everybody? It was a Friday evening and I did a screenshot of my phone that kind of showed where everybody was. And I just thought it was a very interesting story to tell, an indication of what a typical Friday night is like for us. And everyone's kind of scattered about with their friends. So I just thought that would be a good story to tell in that way. So definitely look for opportunities to tell stories in different ways, not just with a photo, but maybe like I'm using a text message as well, a text message or your map, there's so many different ways that you can tell stories. So as I was gabbing along, you saw that I did a bunch of journaling. That card, the one I'm working on right now is just one that I made that you saw me make with a 3x4 white card. But the other one that I did the journaling on, that came from the Ali Edwards numbers kit as well. So I thought that was a great card that I could tell 4 different stories from the week on. So now I'm pulling out, I think this was the AM PM stamp set from Ali Edwards. So again, another plug for her story stamps. This says, I think it says the story of this morning or something like that. I was thinking about actually just stamping right onto the photo, but I decided that I kind of wanted it to stand out with a white border. So I just decided to stamp it onto cardstock. I think it's at this point where I'm kind of taking a step back and deciding what else I want to do. And I saw that white card and I felt like it really needed something. Like I've said in other video tutorials, I really like adding a border around cards that feel like they need to be grounded, and I just felt like it needed a little something, and so I decided to just draw a border around it. So now I did finally decide to use those Color Theory stickers from Studio Calico, and I was debating about using them or not, but I was also debating, if I do it, what will I put on there? And it turns out that I accidentally started putting down morning when what I really wanted to do is put down routine. So you'll see that I end up, once I realize, wait a minute, that's not what I wanted to say, because, the card underneath, I think, says something like the story of this morning. So I was like, wait, I'm doing the wrong thing. So I went ahead and just started putting, fixing it and putting routine out. Now that's one of the things that I tend to do when I'm using letter stickers is I just barely touch the very bottom of the sticker, and I don't stick the entire letter down. That way, if it's crooked or something like that, I can easily fix it. Or in this case, if I put down the entire wrong word, then I'm able to fix it. And once I'm done with that, then I kind of push them all down. So I decided that I want to add these letter stickers to at least 3 of the photos. I thought that it would be a good thing to, just do 3 and add a little bit of red. I felt like this week, though it's totally fine, it just seemed like there wasn't a lot of color in this week, and that tends to happen in the winter months. So I just wanted to add a little something more. And then again, feeling like I didn't like how the rad felt like it was on its own, I decided to pull it down and put it right on top of the text that was already on the photo. So I just went ahead and moved those. So I really love that you're able to reposition those letters without any problem. But you do need to be careful and not push them all the way down. So I'm moving on to putting the letters onto the last photo. And like I said, I really wanted them to at least be on 3. Other than bringing color into the spread, which I already explained, I really feel like it helps tie everything together, which is why you can see the photos that I chose are all split up, and it really helps to move your eye through the spread. It's that visual triangle that they talk a lot about in design. I'm moving on to the title card. Now you can see that I decided not to use that card from Studio Calico. I'll have to save that for another time. But this card came from the Project Life kit. I believe it was the Everyday kit that Liz Tamanaha did last year, or was it 2015? I can't now remember. I'm thinking it was 2016. So anyways, I'm just using my date stamp to put the dates on there. And I'm trying to figure out if I want to add a little embellishment. I felt like there was a lot of space in between those two, but I just decided to end up, doing like a double stamping. And I felt like that worked. I did want to add a little something. I think I want a little bit of color there, but you know what? It's one of those things that I decided to not worry about and move on from. So I had another space, that the Best Kind card. I really like that card. I've been trying to use that card for months now. That is an Ali Edwards card. But I really wanted something with more color. And since it was a filler card, I decided to find something that had more color. This pattern paper came from a Studio Calico kit as well. And then I'm just using some of these die cuts to see which one I want to use. Before I go ahead and make the final decision on what to put on there, I grab over these chipboard circles from an Ali Edwards story kit. This came from the Me kit. So you guys, this is one of those situations where when I really love a product and I have a hard time using it. So these chipboard circles I really love, and I wasn't sure that I wanted to use it because at this point I think I had still planned on maybe doing a Project Life that was all about me, just a small 6x8 album. But I've decided not to do that. Number one, I don't think I'd be able to keep up on it. And number two, I feel like so much of who I am is in the pages of these Project Life spreads. I don't feel like I need to do a separate one. So anyways, back to the products, I just feel like I need to save them for something special. So I'm reminding myself and reminding you guys to use those products, because if you save them for later, A, you may forget about them, and then B, you may not love them the same that you love them now. So that's just me plugging to use the products that you have on hand, especially the ones that you love. All right, so I'm giving my layout one last look, and one of the things that I know that I needed to do was take off those Post-it notes so that I could really get an indication of how this spread was going to look. You saw that I moved around a couple of cards, and then the last thing, or one of the last things that I end up doing, is filling out the cost of goods. I did the ones that I knew offhand, and some of them I didn't fill in, and I'm definitely going to go back. I don't know, like some of those things I end up buying at Costco, and I don't know all the prices at Costco. So next time I go shopping, I will definitely look at those and then write those down, and maybe I will even add a few more as well. So I think the last thing that I go ahead and do once I'm done with that card is I switch up a couple of the cards. I definitely wanted to mix up that red a little bit more, so I just switched those cards and then I just called it good. All right, you guys, this is the spread for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you were able to get some inspiration from this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And like always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below and I will definitely get to them. And if you would like to see more of my process videos, please subscribe. All right, we will catch you in the next video. Bye.